Welcome
Hey.
back to the second episode with our boy Kris Skinner.
Yep.
That's an air horn.
Yeah. For anybody who didn't catch the first one, go back and watch it. It'll be released probably right before this one. We didn't get very far with the marketing stuff. We ended up talking about travels and
Glory
other
holes.
things, glory holes and China
Shitting in
and
trash
everything.
cans.
He's shitting in trash cans. But what? Yeah.
Talking about shitting in trash cans, I think my worst case shit story was I was in Mexico here, and it just came to my mind again. So we'll start off real great. I was going to pick up a car, rental car. It was the middle of the night, and I had like a street taco, and it just hit me, and I like ran into this like dark park and like hid between two trees and pooped and used my sock to wipe. And then I walked across the street and picked the car up.
Yeah. Everybody has a sock story where they've used their sock for that, I think.
I had so many work shirts that were missing sleeves. It's crazy.
I don't even know if we got into what Kris does professionally, if we want to call it that, because all of us are kind of like, I don't even know if I have a real job, but I know that he's done a lot of account management over the years. We got into your marketing background. We don't need to rehash all that. That's in the other show. So I think we left off with you leaving Mexico, getting to Florida. If you want to pick it up from there, I guess.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where we picked up from. We did touch base a little bit on what I do. So mostly now, a lot of the area that I work in is social media. I do a little bit of media buying as well, but I've been in marketing. This is coming up to like my 8th year, so it'll be 8 years and like I want to say like. Actually, no, it's 8 years now, so we're past 8 years. So, 8 years in marketing, started off in social media. But like the thing is with marketing, and a lot of people can agree, once you get into like working with agencies and you work in a specific field, whether that be SEO or you do email marketing, do social media specialist, you start to learn all of the other parts as well. So you although your field isn't in email marketing or it's not in SEO, you work so closely with those people that you start to pick up those things. So then when you leave that agency or wherever it is you're working, you sort of have a grasp on what those areas are. And you can kind of just go out, learn those things online to an extent, of course. And there's a lot of stuff you've got to take courses with and stuff, of course. I'm not saying you can learn marketing just by watching videos online, although you definitely can nowadays with the way the world is and how much information is out there. Like, it's all out there for free. You don't need to necessarily go to school for a lot of those things.
I think you can learn a lot of it, but a lot of it comes down to practice as well, right? So
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
like it's
Yeah.
the saying out there is knowledge is useless, applied knowledge is everything. So you can read a book and learn everything, but if you don't apply it, it's useless. So you can learn
Absolutely.
it, but you need to actually have the practice to do it.
Absolutely. Going in, I started off in social media, but then I got a job elsewhere as like a project manager. But I also knew the social media side, so I helped in that area. Then went to another agency. That's where I actually met Lee. So Lee was obviously doing the copywriting there, so I learned a bit of copy from Lee. So I know how to do copy. I wouldn't say I'm a copywriter. But then I got into then we got moved. I was a marketing coordinator, and then they pivoted that position. So essentially, this is what happens in a lot of agencies. Agencies get greedy. They want to make more money. They don't want to pay more money. So they think, wow, how can we eliminate this role, save more money at the end of every year? Because we're paying this CSM, which is a client success manager, which essentially is just there to basically make sure the client is happy and all their questions are answered. And they're like, damn, firstly, all the people that we've hired, and most agencies will do this, they don't hire people from the West. They hire them from, South America, Asia. Why? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper for them. They can make more money and they can pay less. All their graphic designers, and that's not to say that it's a terrible idea and they're worse or not at all. Like, a graphic designer from the Philippines is just as good as a graphic designer from the US. It really is. But it all comes down to, I don't want to pay this much for a graphic designer. I want to pay that much. And that's just clever. That's just clever business. That's all it is. But what happens is they go, okay, well, we have this client success manager position. We have 10 people and we're paying them 20,000 a year. And sorry, you want to say so, Sean?
No, my camera was just keep zooming into my face.
I thought it looked like you was raising your hand.
I'm trying to make it bigger so I'm not zoomed in like a fucking fathead. I'm like trying to get the camera to zoom back.
Oh, good. So yeah, what they do is, and this is why agencies have so much turnover rate. Like, people leave constantly. They never have the same group of people that they start the company with, unless it's like one of those people that are like really close with the company. And this isn't all agencies. These are greedy agencies. And me and Lee, we worked with the same agency at one point, and we can both agree that they were greedy bastards. And basically what happens is they go, well, we can save X amount a year by eliminating the client success manager role. Okay, well, they do that. They let these people go. They save X amount of tens of or 100,000 a year. but that position still needs to happen, right? They still need to make sure the client is satisfied and that their questions are being answered. So what do? They put all of that extra workload onto someone else that already has a role. So I was a marketing coordinator, and then we shifted down to account manager, and all that basically meant is you don't get more pay, your title has changed, and we're going to give you all this extra work to do. But don't worry, because we're going to take this off of your plate at a later date, and that's going to be like the media buyer's job, and that's going to be the never happened. And I think I was one of the only people that was like, okay, well, I want to renegotiate my contract because I'm doing all this extra work now. Yeah, I was like, we need to renegotiate that. And then one of the women that was like, I guess the operations manager at times, like, oh yeah, we can change like the title of your, the name of your title. I was like, no, I don't just need my contract to pivot to what my new position is. We need to renegotiate because I'm doing X, Y, and Z more than I am now. So I need that to be compensated too. Didn't get compensated. I ended up leaving, I think, 2 weeks later, and then just started working like independently, and then that's when we all started working together. But like, so that's what agencies do. Worked at agencies, learned a lot from agencies, grateful for working with agencies, but the bottom line is they have such a high turnover rate because the workload is crazy. I think a lot of people think that like marketing is like Emily in Paris, like everyone just sits around a table and bitches 24/7, but it's really fucking not. It is so hard and grinding, especially in an agency. It's grinding, it's non-stop, it's fast-paced, it's a lot of work that just doesn't seem possible to get done in short amounts of time. And I think especially when you tell people, oh, I work in social media, I think of all the marketing areas, whether that be, SEO, web development, media buying, I think social media is at the bottom of what people think is marketing. They think, oh, social media, so you just sit there and watch videos, or you just sit there and like it's got that I guess it has that rat that it's like it's not like a real job in marketing, but it is one of the most difficult parts of marketing. But a lot of people think it's just like you just sit there and just like watch videos all day and comment on videos and find trending stuff. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy, right?
I think people think it's easy because they don't obviously understand the market, the industry. And the thing is, I used to do Facebook ads and before Instagram had ads. But the thing is, because Facebook and Instagram, anybody can run an ad, the market is so saturated. There's so saturated with ads. So like when you're, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what my understanding was, when you run an ad, you're competing against everyone else who's running an ad in that industry, that niche, with those targeting, with those key points. So if your quality, there's so many different variables. If like your ad is shitty, the description's not that good, the quality is not that good, you can spend $100 a day, but you're bidding against other people as well. So it's a hard concept to grasp. People just think, oh, $100 a day. We have clients that ask us all the time, like, well, how many leads or how many sales I'm going to get off 500 a month? It's like, we can't really quantify that because there's so many variables. There's so many variables.
That's the most frustrating.
There's no math. There's no mathematics. Be like, oh, for $1,000 you make 10. For $2,000 you make 20. There's no math.
Could you imagine? Because if that was the case, I'd have 10 businesses. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing is, people are so. I think people need to do a little bit of marketing research before they even hire anyone in marketing. Only reason being is their expectation is so high coming into something that they don't know anything about. They just know what marketing is, and they think, okay, so if I invest, $2,000, I'll probably make like $4,000 back. I wish it was that easy. Trust me, that would make my portfolio look amazing. I would have like 5 businesses, but the fact of the matter is, you can't. And anyone that gets on a call with you and goes, yeah, so I run ads, and they can go, I can show your portfolio, like this guy, he invested this much money with me. He was a roofing client, or he was a HVAC client, and we managed to take his revenue from this to this per month, and here's the stats. Yes, that's true. That's not lying to you. That's saying, this is what I have done for this in the past. This is what you're in the same field. I'm hoping I can do this for you as well, using the same strategies I used with this person, blah, blah, blah. That's not lying. That's true. And the person is going to be like, okay, I understand. Now, you do meet people who go, yeah, I've been doing ads for a long time. Like, you give me $5,000, I can definitely make you $10,000. Lying. And you see it so much. I even see the ads like come up on my Facebook. I get ads all the time coming up like, X your monthly revenue by using this platform. Oh, you need to invest X amount per month. Okay, and it's like $250 a month. No, it won't work. It simply won't work. It works for some people. It doesn't work for everyone. And that's anything. Like when people say to me, like, so if I invest this much, how much do you think I'll make back? And I say, I literally can't tell you. If you was to tell me you're going to give me 20K, will you make your ROI back? I can't tell you. I simply can't say yes 100%,
Yeah.
because one, likelihood is yes, you will, because I've done it for so long that I will use the same strategies as I have with other clients in a similar service or in the same service. But I simply can't tell you, you give me this amount of money, you're going to make it back plus more. No one can.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
have skills and a level of a level of a high, I'm trying to think of the fucking word now.
Yeah, we can edit stuff out.
You know, you can
Yeah,
have like
we do
a
all
high
the time.
level of education in that field, and you can do it for X amount of years, but it still doesn't mean if someone gives you this much money, you're going to make that much back. You just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
And
it was that easy.
And what they don't realize also is a lot of clients come to, as I see this, I mean, I don't do what you do, but we work together a lot on a lot of
Mm.
things. People come to us and they're like, okay, it's going to be whatever, it's this much money up front or this much per month. And then a couple months in, they're like, well, I haven't seen anything yet. I'm like, this is the long game, man. Like sometimes it takes, especially with a new business, it could take like a fucking year and a half to really get traction. Nobody wants to hear that because they want to put money in and get money back right away. It's just not realistic, right? So,
And the thing with expectations too is there's so many different variables in a business, right? So you can't guarantee anyone the ROI of what they invest because there's like the website might not, especially if like let's say you get your own client that doesn't come to our agency that we didn't build the website or we could like kind of guarantee that it's going to be a good flowing website. And when I say kind of guarantee because at the end of the day, the client usually has the last say of how their website looks. And even I've had clients like, this shouldn't go in there. Like, well, that's what I want. I'm like, okay. So like, there's some things where I can't guarantee everything that we do is going to be fully functioning. Because if you say, I don't like this and it ends up not working, that's on you. But there's so many different variables. There's the website. There's the product that you have. Like you might think it's going to sell like hotcakes, and it might be a shitty product, but like we'll try our best to make it sell for you. So there's a lot of different variables. So you can't just guarantee anything because like there's so many different variables in there that unless we handle everything, like the product design, the website, the email marketing, the social media, we can kind of give you some better ideas as to how it's going to go. But there's no guarantees in life. I mean, that's actually what we did an episode earlier, our last episode about failures and stuff, and I didn't bring this one up, but there was times where I was spending like $3,000 a month on ads and I was maybe making $1,500. So I was losing $1,500 a month on ads. But the thing is, I was losing money kind of on purpose because I knew it took time. For 6 months of losing $1,500 to $2,000 a month, I started getting the profit of $500 profit, $1,000 profit. So I literally spent $6,000 or $8,000 in 4 months, and I made $3,000, and then I eventually started recuperating. So it's a long game. So it's hard to
there's a big chain in there too, from the ad to the website, like you were saying. What does that look like? Does that function? And then who's the idiot who's closing these also? Because like if you could have a great product, but let's say whoever calls the business or whatever it is these days, email, and then if they can't sell their product, like that's not our fault either, you know? So there's a lot that can go wrong from ads to sale, you know?
That's totally true. And the thing is like a lot of people, you can have a killer ad. You can have the perfect person see your ad that is like, that is exactly what I want. That's the perfect price. I need this. They'll click it. If the landing page is shit and there's no social proof, they go to your Facebook page and there's nothing there. They go to your Instagram and your last post was 3 years ago and you're not active and there's no stories going up, so they know they can't reach out to you on Instagram should they need to. They go to your website, there's no reviews, there's no video testimonials. They just lose trust. It's not because they don't want it. Like they literally like, that's perfect. But they're like, but is this real? Is this going to work? Looking at all of this, I don't know. That's why you have to have all those different areas. It's like you could have an amazing website, but if you have dog shit, social media, you're now taking something that could be amazing and you're just losing part by part. You haven't got no email marketing. That's another bit. You're not running any SEO. You're not doing any ads. Like if you've got a killer website, what good is it if people can't see it? And if you've got nothing else to back it up either, like look at our social media, look at all these reviews we got, look at our YouTube, you can see all of our video testimonials in there. We got over 100 Google reviews, X amount on 5-star reviews. That's reviews and testimonials are everything. And if I go to stay at a hotel, I'm checking the reviews. If I'm booking, everything, I'm checking the reviews. Oh, I want to go eat at this new restaurant, never been there, checking the reviews. So, and it's the exact same when people want to get into marketing. But another problem with it is, I mean, I don't charge people a lot at all. And I've worked at agencies in social media. And I know and I remember working at this one place, terrible place, but you know, I was doing social media specialist there, and these clients were paying, I think, 3,000 for just social media, and all they got was depending on, well, actually, it was 3,000 as like standard. And I think it was like 8 posts, so it was 4 posts a week. And what you would do is you'd do 1 week of creative, which meant you were creating all of this stuff and you were scheduling it out for the next 2 weeks for these clients, so 4 posts a week. And then that week, while all that content's going out, you're like doing all the engagement. So just for that, like you you create posts, you schedule them. There was no ads included. It was no analytics. It was just creating and scheduling posts out. And then the other week, you were just doing the engagement. If people commented, you were responding back. You were sharing content into groups. Clients were paying that agency like 3K, 3.5K just for that. And happy to spend that. That's just on social media. That's nothing else. Now, when I reach out to clients now and I'm like, hey, it's this price, which is a fraction of that, they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, I think they see the big number. They're like, it's 1,500 a month. And you're like, yeah, but you narrow that down to like what that is a week. It's so minimal, you know, like let's say I charge a client 1,000 a month just for like social media management. That's $250 a week. Like that's really peanuts. You couldn't employ someone in anywhere to like work for $250 a week. So actually you're getting, and that's like taking so much stress off you. You haven't got to worry about your social media. You haven't got to worry about content creation. You haven't got to worry about designing graphics. You don't have to, you know, because these clients are like, well, I could do it. Yeah, you could do it. One, do you have the time to do it? You're now going to have to pay monthly subscriptions to make these graphics, monthly subscriptions to, you know, if you want to do video editing. All of these things alone, just these subscriptions, are half of what you would pay someone else anyway. So it's more just the convenience. I've had clients that are like, here, yeah, you know, 2,000, yeah, there you go, no problem. And I've had clients that are like, I can do the social media, and you can look back and you can see and be like, wow, you actually do know how to make good creative. They're like, yeah, no, it's not that. It's just I'm way too busy to do it now. I understand that this doesn't, you know, social media and just posting organically works, but I know it's not going to make me tons of money. But the fact of the matter is, I want it to be up to date. I want it to look amazing. I want people to see my ad or see my website, revert to the social media and know that it's all up to date. We're posting regularly, and know that we're real. I can do it. I just don't have time to do it. So why not just pay someone else to do it for me? That's, you know, like I can, yeah, there's tons of stuff, right? I can cook my own food at home, but sometimes I want to eat out and pay someone to do it for me. Like it's the same thing. Exactly. It's the same thing.
So going on that, like, what do you think is like what would be like the biggest blind side that people kind of get hit with when you're talking to them about social media? Because a lot of people, I think, again, like we talked about at the beginning, a lot of people think it's easy, it's the bottom, it's not that hard to do, blah, 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 blah. So when you're talking to these clients and all of a sudden you hit them with, let's say, you know, $1,500, $1,000 a month price point, what would be something that you could maybe give people advice on right now that would kind of prepare them as to why it's so complicated, why the cost, you know, let's say that agency was charging $3,000, you're charging $1,000, like, you know, but a lot of, and I have clients, you know, too, I say, hey, you know, I have a social media guy, he charged $1,000, like $1,000. I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. He knows what he's doing. Like you're paying for his knowledge and his skills and his time. So,
right.
You know, for the people that are watching right now, they're looking or thinking about getting social media marketing done through us or through you or through anybody, what's something that you can kind of give them advice towards that would help them ease the blow of what the price would be as to why it's so hard and why they just can't just do it themselves.
Right. Well, there's a story, and you've probably heard this before, and I might botch this story, but I'll try to go over it like as good as I can. Now, there's a story. It's not true, but it tells it's a good point. Is guy has a problem with his car. Doesn't know what the problem is. He works on cars, but he's not a mechanic. But he thinks he can do little bits here and there, which everyone does, right? I know little bits about cars. Calls the mechanic out. Mechanic comes out. Looks around the car. Guy says to him, you know, I've looked everywhere. I just can't figure out why this is, you know, it's what the problem is right here. It's not starting. Guy comes in, the mechanic looks over, gets his hammer out, dink, starts to work. Perfect. The mechanic sends the invoice to the client. The client goes, whoa, you know, $1,000. Like all you did was hit it. And he was like, yeah, it was $1 to hit it. 900, that's the same thing, right? It's like, yeah, it seems like, well, I could do all of this. If you could, you wouldn't have reached out to begin with. And secondly, you won't know how to do it. Yeah, you can do it, but you're going to spend so much time knowing how to do it. You can, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Can I do it? You can, of course you can. Can you do your own SEO? Yeah. Can I do my own? Why should I pay someone to do my ads when I can just learn it myself? Of course. Why should I pay someone to do social media when I can do it? Of course you can. But do you have the time to sit there and go through, you're a busy person, you're a business owner. When you're not doing that, do you have all those hours in the evening to, revise and learn all of these things that I've been doing for X amount of years? Sure. But do you want to do that? Or do you
Yep.
want to have someone else do it for you that knows how to do it?
And that's
Like
kind of
with
like what I
a
was.
lot of the creative stuff, like I'm not a creative like graphic designer or video editor. I can do it, but sometimes we have some guys that we all work with, like RJ and stuff, and I'll be like, hey RJ, because I know, and I'll pay him too. Like I can sit there and I can spend 2 hours on designing 6 graphics and start on a video reel edit, but something that takes him an hour because he's just so quick at it and he's done it for so many years. And one, his is going to look better than mine probably because he does it so well, and it's going to take him half the time. So I pay. Yeah, it's like, well, I could have done this and now I'm out of pocket by whatever, but it saved me money in the long run because I can get more done, which means I
Yeah,
can
and
I can start getting more money in because this has already been done. I'm not like so backtracked. So yes, it's a matter of can you do it? Yeah, of course I can. But why would I if someone can do it at a fair price and it's going to save me time, which is going to make me more money in the long run because my mind is elsewhere. I'm working elsewhere in a different area rather than having to worry about that. Why wouldn't you, right?
and that's what I did too. So when I was running those ads, I told you the story earlier in this episode. I kind of what I was doing, but if I would have just hired someone to run my ads for me, I would have made a lot more money. But my mindset was, I can figure this out on my own. I can do it. So instead of actually just paying someone $1,000 a month or $50 a month plus my ad budget, I was wasting thousands of dollars figuring it out, playing around, testing, sorting, seeing what would work, what didn't work. So like, sure, I ended up making money in the long run, but I probably could have actually saved myself a lot more money and made more money if I would have hired someone else. But I was in the same mindset of like trying to not, I was afraid to give someone else money to do what I thought that I could do. And I ended
Right.
up, luckily in my case, I ended up like I had enough money at, when I was starting this off, or, I had $50,000 in the bank where I could just, $5,000 a month, fuck it. Sure, I'll waste that. But a lot of people don't have that kind of money, but they're afraid to invest in their business by hiring a professional to do their job. And it happened to me. I do it all the time. Like there's, like you said, with the graphic design, there's sometimes where, I'll get a project where like, I don't really know how to do it, or I know how, but I'm not that good at it, not that fast. So,
Right.
yeah.
No, I
So
don't know if you can.
I take it on.
You might hear someone doing the gardening out the back. Can you hear that?
A little bit now. I hear the weed eater. Yeah. I can hear
Speaking
that weed
of
whacker.
something we pay other people to do, we don't want to do that shit. Fuck the gardening. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've also run into like there's social media management. You could manage somebody's account that has like a good following or they want to grow organically. And then there's the ad side of things as well. We know some people now that have like a lot of following and on one or more platforms. And they're like, well, why do I need to run ads? Can I just, sell this to my existing list or whatever? And we run into that a lot lately too. You have to put out ads somewhere. If this was 40 years ago, we'd be taking out ads in the yellow pages, radio spots, trying to get fucking stupid TV commercials, whatever it is, getting in your local paper, which is who wants to do that?
Yeah.
So this is the way to get your name, your brand, your product out in front of people. So a lot of people resist. They're like, oh, I don't need to do that. I'm like, well, there is no other way anymore. Otherwise, you own a business and you're just hoping somebody drives by or just happens to like stumble across your URL. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
It's true. I know it's frustrating. Like, the times are difficult, especially in the West, America, UK, it's tough. People don't want to spend money. People just simply don't have money. And some people like businesses that are like so profitable and they're making tons of money. They don't care. They're like, yeah, whatever, I'll put $5,000 a month into ad, which is the best case scenario. But typically a lot of startups, they just don't, they just simply don't. And I get it. Like, it's frustrating. You want to see some sort of money coming in before you spend more money. I get it. Like, truth of the matter is you've only got a certain audience and there's only so much you can do organically. That's not to say you can't make money doing organic stuff. Of course you can. There's people that haven't ever taken an ad out and they make tons of money, word of mouth. It's like you get 5 solid clients. They tell their friends about you. Their friends jump on calls you close there. And it's like, and you can, of course you can. But like for like a lot of services, especially when the competition is so high in it, stuff like roofers, HVAC clients, all of that, where like it's so competitive. Like, yes, you need to run ads. I know it's frustrating, but like, if truth of the matter is you should. Like, yes, if this was 30, 40 years ago, you'd be putting up like signs, billboard signs, yellow pages. There's tons of stuff, and people still do that. I mean, you go pizza boxes. Usually you order pizza, they stick their flyer on top of it, but on one side it's like advertisement where people have paid that pizza company to put their, you know, services or product on their flyer. So every pizza that goes out, people are seeing it, which is great marketing too. But like, yeah, people just don't want to spend money for it, but they want to make money. And then they get frustrated when they're not making money, but you got to spend money to make money. It's the truth that if it again, like I say, if it was so easy and it was a matter of going, you know what, it's $1,000, I'm gonna make 5 back, or I can open a business and I can join loads of groups and share my stuff into it, I'm gonna make money. I'd be retired. I'd have 5 businesses. It's just not that simple. There's a lot of competition out there.
It's not the world we live in. And again, like people need to understand, you need to spend money to make money. And I think a lot of what happens is people hold on too long of trying to do it on their own, and they start wasting all the money that they do have. So when it comes time to them finally admitting, like, I need help, they have no money to do it. So
they're desperate. They're like out of money.
Desperate. They're desperate out of money. So I think for all those out there that, if you have that gut feeling that you should hire someone to do it, go do it while you have the funds to do it. Don't wait till everything dries up and you run out of money. Reach out to a professional, reach out to someone who knows what they're doing while you still have ad spend to go with. And it's a big key point on here is don't wait till it's too late.
Build it into your business plan, have it to be one of the first items. So even if you haven't launched yet, like whether it's an online course or whatever, you're building a mechanic shop down the street, think about marketing and build it in, because it can't be an afterthought. Otherwise, nobody's going to ever hear you. But anyway, boys, I think that's a great place to end. Don't forget to go back and watch the last one. There's a little bit more feces in that one than this one, but whatever, same shit. Good advice either way. So to be continued, guys. Yeah.
And again, remember to like, follow, subscribe, and thanks for your support. Appreciate it.
All right.
See you guys.
All right, everybody. Cheers.